everyone! Welcome to my intro video today. We're just gonna start right into it. If you're new to my channel, I am so glad you're here today. I am just excited to share with you about who I am and what I love in life. Because yes, I am hard of hearing, but I think I have such a fun personality. Am I totally biased? Yes, I am totally biased because I have confidence. I think I am awesome and I'm excited to share some little things about myself today. Who I am, how my hearing loss came to be, what it is, and more about that. I'm glad you're here. If you can do me a favor and like this video and subscribe down below, you'll be the first to hear about all my other great videos that come out. Also, please leave a comment about yourself. I would love to have a little intro about all of you. I do my best to respond to comments as soon as possible, and it would be fun to hear about you, where you're from. Do you have a hearing loss? Are you deaf? I'd love to know. If you are deaf or hard of hearing, go ahead and turn on the captions if you haven't already. I work really hard to make sure those are up to date because I personally use them all the time and I know how much they help. Okay, and I hope you stick around to the end of this video because I am going to have a little special guest. Now, set your expectations low, but it's a special guest and you will know him when you see him. If you don't know him, I would be shocked. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was born and diagnosed with my hearing loss at birth. This was really interesting. I was born in the early 90s and I was diagnosed at birth. It was rarer, relatively speaking, for a baby to be diagnosed with their hearing loss at birth because the only way that that would happen is if someone else in the family had hearing loss. And my hearing loss is bilateral, moderate to severe, congenital sensory neural loss, which means that it is genetic. So I got it from my parents. The crazy thing though is my parents do not have hearing loss. So how do they know how to test me? Well, I have an older sister and she was diagnosed just before I was born with her severe to profound loss. So when they found out my sister had it, they said, of course, this little baby has it, so you need to test your next baby because it's a chance that your next baby has a hearing loss as well. So as soon as I was born, they tested me and unfortunately, I failed my hearing test. They tested me 6 weeks later to assure the integrity of the test. Sometimes there are some factors that can make the test incorrect, but again, it affirmed that I had a hearing loss and it's moderate to severe, and it's that genetic loss that unfortunately we don't have a cure for at this time. Great news is we do have things that can help. Early 90s, we're talking like better devices than what there were before, so I didn't have to wear a hearing aid box. I know people have had to do that, super humiliating, horrible, but we had hearing aids. So we got custom molds made for my tiny little baby ears and I wore hearing aids from the moment that they affirmed that I had a hearing loss. The neat thing about being fit with hearing aids so early is that I was able to develop as almost any other hearing child. I still had a lot of intense speech language therapy that taught me how to talk, and my mom used cued speech. My parents just decided that ASL was not the route that they wanted to take for my sister and I because they wanted us to be, quote, mainstream. It means that they wanted us to be able to communicate lingually and orally with people around us. So instead of communicating by means of American Sign Language or signs, they decided to teach us and raise us to speak. And a lot of people say like, whoa, I can't even tell you're hard of hearing. Yes, that is a miracle for me personally. My parents decided to make the decision that they wanted to fit my sister and I with hearing aids as soon as possible and teach us how to speak. That is an option. It's not a popular option, but people should know that it is an option. It's a lot of work. You have to go to speech therapy. You have to do your homework. As a parent, you've got to be on it like crazy. Your children will take their hearing aids in and out of their ears like 30 plus times a day. You're always worried about losing them. But as a child, in retrospect, nearly 25 years later, I am so grateful that my parents did what they did because I can communicate with the majority of people. So there's kind of my hearing background. Since I've been diagnosed, I've been involved in a lot of different hearing loss organizations and charities and institutions that have amazing missions. Some of those include Hands and Voices. their national chapter. The National Cute Speech Association, absolutely amazing. We love them. A.G. Bell does scholarships. I got a scholarship from them. Hamilton Relay, they are a phone company. Got a scholarship through them for high school. There are so many state services that I was able to take advantage of because of my disability. So fast forward a couple years from our diagnosis, and in the early 2000s, my sister and I and our parents, we were asked to really lobby for newborn hearing screening. This is due to the fact that she was diagnosed late at the age of 2, and I was diagnosed at birth. We essentially became this perfect science experiment to have 2 children raised in the same home with similar variables to show the differences and benefits in being diagnosed and treated earlier like I was rather than later like she was. She struggled a lot when it came to understanding language and being able to be oral and social and things like that. But the amazing thing is my parents did not give up. They worked so diligently with her and me, and we were able to grow up. And I have since graduated with a degree in advertising, and my sister is now a doctorate in audiology. She sounds just like me. We are both very oral, but people don't understand how severe our hearing losses are. Like I said, mine is moderate to severe, hers is severe to profound, and it's incredible that we are able to communicate like we do. We make it look easy though. I never had a lot of trouble being confident with my hearing loss. I know other people do, but I think it's just because this is all I've ever known. I've had to compensate. I've dealt with hearing fatigue. I understand that some areas are easier to hear than others. I know that I'm kind of forgetful because of the way my brain processes sound, and it's hard for me to remember things. I lose things a lot because I can't hear them drop behind me. I get hearing loss. I live with it every day of my life. So considering my unique circumstances, my ability to speak, I have really taken this to heart, and I feel really grateful for it. I am absolutely grateful that I'm able to share my voice and share the voice of the deaf and hard of hearing, and to have that voice for, we should have captionings in videos, or with coronavirus, masks are horrible for people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and having that voice to be able to advocate for myself and ourselves as a community of deaf and hard of hearing people. My lobbying efforts in favor for the deaf and hard of hearing have included lobbying for the 2003 newborn hearing screening bill. My sister, my mom, and I, we all got to testify on Capitol Hill in favor of that bill, which we were really happy ended out passing. So every baby born in the United States has subsequently been tested for hearing loss at birth so that they can be diagnosed early and given the best chance to receive the treatment they need to develop as a hearing child. Other pieces of legislation that we've helped pass include legislation that involves private insurances covering hearing aids. I believe this is extremely important because to me, hearing aids are just as important as heart pacemakers, prosthetics, and other durable medical equipment. Hearing aids to a child's brain are absolutely essential. Without proper hearing devices, the brain cannot be stimulated in those oral lingual areas and develop. I completely believe in the slogan that if you don't use it, you lose it. I am an advocate for hearing device education. That does not mean that I think that everyone who is deaf or hard of hearing should have hearing devices. No, I just believe that everyone who's deaf or hard of hearing should be aware of the fact that hearing devices are available, that they can help, and everyone deserves a chance to have them because these are senses, these are basic social and communication tools. Okay, so there's kind of the hearing side of me. As you can see, I've gone through elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, and more, and it has been incredibly amazing to be able to speak and communicate with all my peers orally and lingually. There was an incredible speaker that came to my college, and she was giving us kind of all a pep talk. And the one thing she said was, if students cannot communicate, they will not be successful. That hit me like a ton of bricks, because I knew she was speaking the truth. As a deaf and hard of hearing child, communication was not intended to be my strong point, but now I'm working to make that a strong point of mine, which is why I'm creating this channel. This channel is here so that I can share my stories and show other deaf and hard of hearing people what is possible and support their supporters. There are so many questions from so many sides of how do I handle this? How do I deal with this? I struggle with this. Is this normal? Yes. Yes, I'm here to validate. So if you have any questions or concerns or things that you're like, hey, I noticed this, is this normal? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to create community and an environment in which deaf and hard of hearing people understand that though a hearing loss is isolating, you do not need to feel isolated. There are so many technological advances and opportunities to be social and to communicate. So I hope that this channel will encourage a community of hard of hearing and deaf people to link arms and make the world a more accessible place for us. Okay, so a little bit more about me that I thought would be really fun to share is just a couple things I like. I'm gonna go through really fast, but here we go. Number one, I love to paint. I paint shoes. These are my shoes. I like to paint my shoes with things that I like. There was one day that I was gonna throw some white shoes out and I thought, no, I can't throw these out. I wanna do something. I wanna paint on them. So I did. I have an obsession with pigs, hence the pig on the front. We'll get to more of some of these things later. Maybe you'll see some things that you'll notice later. So I love to paint shoes. I love succulents, but mostly plastic ones. I do not have a green thumb and can't keep them alive to save my life. But if they're plastic, I love goldfish. Yeah, I don't know why. I just love these. These are like some of my favorite snacks. I totally love to run. I scheduled my first marathon and due to coronavirus, it's been canceled. I'm just, so sad. But I love these shoes. These are the Saucony Freedom 3s and they are heaven on my feet. Now I will say not every running shoe fits all. So if you're looking for running shoes, you gotta go find your own. Another thing that I feel like I should mention, I am an Apple fan, total Apple fan. I can't explain it. Ever since I switched over from PC and Android, Apple is my home. So I will say that if I ever do any hearing aid app reviews, they're gonna be iPhone related, iPhone apps, iPhone everything, because I am an Apple fan. Now, if you are an Android fan, I would love to hear in the comments below. I know that this is very divisive, but I don't want it to be divisive. I just had to bring that up. I will say my love for Apple is deeply embedded in the fact that the Adobe Creative Suite loves Apple as well. So I will also say I think it's important to note that yes, I am married. As a hard of hearing and deaf person, yes, I found someone who loves me despite my hearing loss, and he does such a great job. Want to see a picture of him? Want to see a picture of him? Okay. He's so cute. This is Joel. This is my husband. We look really young in this picture. I kind of look the same. Let me see if I can. I still have that smile. I get it when I'm really happy. But yes, this is Joel. This is my husband. I love him. We met at a water park and life has been great ever since. And here is the moment you've all been waiting for, our special guest. Oh my goodness, isn't he so cute? I only brought him because I love to crochet and this was one of the first things I crocheted. His ears are a little floppy, but it does not subtract from the fact that he is really cute. So yes, thank you. Thank you, Baby Yoda, for being here today. Unfortunately, Baby Yoda is not for sale. There we go. If you have any questions for me about what I like or anything about me, please let me know. I look forward to keep doing this channel and I hope you enjoy everything I have to share. I'm so excited to get to know you all better and I look forward to sharing more about myself in my videos. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe and leave a message in the comments below about something that maybe you thought of during this video. I would love to hear from you and get to know you all a little better. Have a great day. Bye.